Vibrant autumn leaves paint the world with warmth and coziness, inviting us to slow down, savor the moment, and find solace in the simple pleasures of life. These little acorns amidst the colorful foliage remind us that even the smallest beginnings can lead to magnificent outcomes. That being said, join me today as I teach you step by step how you can transform simple lines into this autumn acorn masterpiece. But that's not all. Next week, I will also show you how to paint it with watercolors. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Now, you do have a few options here. If you're pretty confident in your drawing skills, you can just sketch this right onto some watercolor paper so you'll be ready to paint next week. But if you're more of a beginner, or if you're like me and need to erase a lot while you draw, I recommend drawing on some artist sketch paper or even just some printer paper until you get your drawing how you like, and then you can trace it onto your watercolor paper later. And lastly, if you don't draw at all, but would still like to paint with me next week, you can purchase this outline for a minimal cost on my Etsy shop, which I will list the link to in the description of this video. Now, because I do erase a lot when I draw, I have already lightly sketched a basic outline on my paper. But I found that pencil can be hard to see on these videos sometimes, so I'll use this thin Sharpie marker and we can go over this together again in the simplest way possible. So first, let's start with the main feature, the acorns. I'll start by drawing this just slightly below the center area of the page, and we'll first draw sort of a bumpy or crescent moon shape for the cup of the acorn, followed by an oval shape stemming from the cup. I might even add a little triangle mark for the tip of the acorn, as well as some dots or small lines as texture on the acorn cup. Then I'll draw two more acorns in a similar way, but facing different directions. I will also add in some small stems at the bottoms of the cups that sort of connect them all together. Now let's start drawing some of the leaves that stem out from behind the acorns. There's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason on how these should be drawn, but that can be a good thing, seeing as there's not a ton of expectations for how they should look. Basically, we will be drawing between 4 to 6 bumps on each half or side of the leaf that can be of varying sizes, and each bump should have rounded points. You're really just drawing a nice, organic, asymmetrical wavy line on one side and then the other. As we continue drawing these next two leaves, it also may be a good idea to have them overlap each other a little bit. So if it helps, or if you need to, go ahead and follow through with drawing all of the pencil lines and then erase any you don't need later. If you're looking for artistic inspiration, make sure you subscribe to my channel where I share new tutorials, tips, and tricks that will elevate your artistic skills to new heights. For this leaf here, I think I'll just try to draw a little smaller in size to give some variety and prevent it from running off the page. Now, these last two leaves, I'm going to draw a little bit more skiwampus in shape than the first four. I want to give them more of an appearance of maybe being viewed at an angle or maybe even being curled under at the tip. But if this feels too hard or too weird to draw, you can just draw these leaves in the same way as we've been doing with the first ones instead. Then here on this leaf, it might be fun to add an extra line to help emphasize the sideways view or the curl of the leaf. Really quick, I'm also going to draw a thin and jaggedy branch springing out from the bottom of this acorn cluster. And now all that's left to do is draw in some little vein lines onto the leaves. Now you can just draw these as one-liners, or you can emphasize the veins a little here and there by adding a second line that creates a wider base on the vein and then connects to the first line about halfway up. And believe it or not, that's all there is for this autumn acorn drawing. Make sure you don't miss next week's amazing tutorial on how to paint this beautiful drawing. Trust me, it really will make it come to life. Thanks so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please consider subscribing to my channel so I can continue to help you discover your artistic side.